Welcome to Legal Vlogs with ZP, and today we're going to talk about sustainability in environmental law. We all had issues about climate change and climate campaigns in almost every continent. We had fire issues in US this year in LA. We have issues of fire in Australia. We had issues of fire in Bolivia last July. We have issues of fire in October in Syria. So this shows that really climate change is taking the glows off. So what are some of the regulations that most countries have put in place to ensure that we are really trying to put up with the sustainable goals and principles of Craig and Roth? Are we really upholding the principles of polluter pays? Are we upholding the principles of public participation in climate change and environmental laws? Are we upholding the positions of intergenerational equity? Are we upholding the positions of and principles of precautionality and pollution prevention? Really, we've seen that these impacts. We have people trying to privatize basic natural resources like water in dry areas. Really, are we really upholding this principle of sustainability in environmental law? Are we using these resources currently we have for our benefit and the future generation? So yeah, there are many legal bases of environmental law in most countries. Starting off in Africa, the Maputo Conventions, the new proposed bills of environmental law, which is many. We have in Australia, we have the Conventions of Biodiversity. We have the Fire and Emergency Act of 2005. I think that's the southern part of Australia that has it. Going to the EU, their basis of Article 3 has the principle of sustainability. They have many directives, what else? Regulations. And one of the example I think is the Industrial Emission Directive. Yeah, we have also a directive of 205, 203 on environment and many others. Going to countries like South America and the Caribbean, they have the Escazú Agreement, the 2018 agreement, which is very nice. Going to countries like, okay, then going to the US now that they have issues of fire. They have many legal provisions that are kept in place to make sure that there is prevention of fire, preventions of environmental degradations. We have the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act and many others to handle that. So we still see that there are issues of environmental degradations. We still see that we cannot put or sustain this environment for this generation and the future generations of our children and our grandchildren, and when we're not there. So, what are some of the issues of climate change everywhere? Energy transitions every time, biodiversity loss and ecosystem degradations in more countries. Water is getting scarce everywhere, not only in desert places, just everywhere. Pollution, new ways, circular economies, and resource management. These are the issues that we don't deeply talk about, but they are really affecting the sustainable goal of putting up with the environment and making sure that we use it for our generation and the next generation. Issues of AI and AI ethics, issues of carbon management, carbon printing, companies trying to reduce their carbon footprints, issues of carbon tracking and optimization. So these are part of the things that are really important to look at, especially in terms of putting up with the sustainability of the environment. Being a good leader means choosing someone who will be able to sign new conventions or put up laws that are able to handle the environment, not only for us and for the future. For example, the new agreement of environment, the Paris Agreement, there are most countries that are signatories to it, while others are. For example, the US. The US joined with Obama's regime in 2016. When they voted for Trump decided no, they're not going to be part of it. Then Biden came in, they got back to the Paris Agreement. So we don't know now that they have the new president. We don't know if they're going to sustain to be part and signatories of the Paris Agreement, or they're going to put it out. So simple things as that. So as much as the Paris Agreement is a good thing in terms of environment, it has its one or two issues that are not handling very well. So is Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, the issues of carbon trading. This is something that is very sensitive in most countries. Giving a mechanism or putting up mechanisms for countries to buy or trade on carbon credits I don't. This is a potential issues of enabling high emitting gases to other nations, and that may probably continue to pollute uh, more of the environment. The more they buy, the more they continue to pollute, or by purchasing more credits from others. So that is another issues. Another issue, of course, there are many issues. Is their way of the way they decided to draft some words. Words like progression in the act, and the words like the highest possible ambition. Yeah, it's good to be ambitious. So those things are not defined. And allowing countries to just be free to interpret them maybe is really subjective on how they're going to interpret each of them, and will potentially justify less ambition actions to mean that they are very ambitious. So that is one of the things. Issues of collective vis-a-vis the individual progressive assessment, many issues of enforcement, and many others. So basically, as much as really the Paris Agreement has helped in handling issues of environment, there's one or two three loopholes that probably would be, if make it more effective to handle and help in sustainability of the environment for our generation and the future generations. Initiatives that and proposed bills probably is a means of trying to handle issues of sustainability and environmental. There are several of them. There is the loss of damage fund. There is a new collective and qualified goal on climate finance. There is the corporate sustainability and reporting directives. And there is the circular economy models, the ones that IKEA is using to refurbish their programs, new renewable energy investments. Many countries are trying to increase and committing renewable energies. We have biodiversity initiatives in many countries. Companies like Nestle are trying to put the initiatives on biodiversity. That's the end of our discussion. See you in the next one.